First, let me say congratulations. You found the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. You popped the question, and they said yes. You only got one problem. You live in the United States, and they live in another country. But don't worry, I'm going to take you through the entire K-1 process, from the first filings all the way to the interview. I've been through this. I know what it takes to do it. I'm not a lawyer, so you're not going to get any legal jargon from me. I'm going to give it to you straight. Are you ready? Let's get to it. Alright guys, so let's start the K-1 process. So all the links will be below in the description for you on this. So the form you fill out to start the K-1 visa is called I-129F. Now it's a 13-page document. It's going to have questions for you and your fiance. So one of you can fill it out, or both of you. It's totally up to you on that. So, it's going to ask, where you lived, how long you lived there, where you work, how long you worked there. You're going to have to provide a letter from your employer stating, when you started, how much money you make, what's your job title, those types of things. From the bank, it's going to want checking and savings. You're going to have to get a letter from them, stating when you open the account, what's the average balance of the account since you've had it open. Those types of things. Your birth certificate. I believe I had to get my driver's license. I know your passport. Every page of your passport, they're going to want a picture of that, printed out for them. So, yeah, it's a time-consuming document if your fiance or you have trouble getting the information they want, like divorce papers. If you've been married before, they're going to want a copy of the original divorce papers. For me, I was divorced in another state many years ago, so it was a pain in the butt to get those divorce papers. So, yeah, it took me and Tung Chinook about a month, to get all of the documents that we needed. They're also going to want proof of relationship, so photos, text messages, phone records, plane ticket receipts, hotel receipts, how many times you've been there, to visit. They need to make sure, and this is the number one key, they have to believe this is a real relationship. I mean, everything else falls into place. They have to know it's a real relationship. So once you get all the documentation together, you're going to have to write a check for $535. I don't believe it's went up in the 2 years since we did this, or 3 years now. But, so yeah, $535. You send that in to the USCIS. Now, then you'll get an I-797 notification letting you know that they received it. So, we began this at the beginning of COVID, so I'm not sure how much of a backlog the USCIS has now, but for us, it took about 3.5 months for them to review and approve it. So once they approved it, they sent us another notification letting us know it had been approved, and then it's off to the National Visa Center. And all it does there, let me stress this, all your case does at the National Visa Center is a holding facility. That's it. It's just there until the embassy is done with their backlogs or done with their cases they're working on and request new cases. So the National Visa Center can't do anything for you as far as speeding the process up. I learned that the hard way. So our case sat at the National Visa Center for a little over a year. And then the embassy requested it. Once the National Visa Center sent it to them, excuse me, got choked there. The National Visa Center then sent us an email letting us know that it had been sent. Now, in that email is your embassy number. Ours started with BBK, so you need to keep that. So once the embassy receives the case, ours stayed there for 3 months before they was ready for us. So sat there for 3 months. They sent us an email then letting us know it's time to schedule our interview. And they sent an email packet, and I'll show you that on the screen. So you click the link, and the first thing you're going to need to do is register on their website, the embassy website, and you have to complete the DS-160, or your fiance does. Let me state that. Your fiance needs to complete the DS-160. And it's basically she or he going to be filling out a lot of information they already provided, but it's also extra questions in there, and I think that's more of a terrorism checklist type thing that they need to answer. But yeah, so they complete that. Once that's done, then you move on to the next step, which is paying for your interview. Now, the filing fee was $535. The interview cost is $240. Okay. Now, there's a couple ways you can do that. How we did it was she printed out the deposit slip from the website, and she just went to the bank and paid it. Now, once the embassy has, I guess they get notified that you made the payment, then you're able to schedule your interview date. Okay. Now, I want to stop here for a second. And okay, so when you're thinking about your interview date, keep in mind you still have to do your medical. And here's the reason I want to point this out. Once you get your visa, the approval date is actually whatever day you had your medical on. It's not the day you have your interview on. So you want to keep those probably within a week to 10 days from each other, not a month, okay? Because the expiration date of that visa, again, starts from the medical date. So again, okay, so you've paid for the interview, you've scheduled the interview, but you still got to do the medical. So you call, and they'll give you a list of hospitals to do that from. So you pick one of those from the list, and you go do your medical. Now, the medical was $200 for us, plus her shots. And I don't remember what it came out to. But so far, we're $535, $240, and $200. So you're looking at $1,000 if you do this process yourself. And again, the K-1 visa can be done by you. You don't have to hire a lawyer as long as you are very detailed and pay attention to what you're doing. Because if you make a mistake, they're going to send it back to you and say you need to submit it again. So, yeah, so this can be done yourself. So, okay, so you've had your medical. Now it's time to go for the interview. In the interview, your fiance is going to want to take what's called the I-134 Affidavit of Support. And that's basically just stating that you, as the sponsor, you're going to take care of them, while they're here. Okay. I also provided 2 years worth of tax transcripts for her to show that I could, support her while she's here. Now, I don't know if this is just Thailand or it's every country, but you have to prove that you're single. I'd never heard of that, but actually in Thailand, there is a document that she got that states she's single. And divorce papers, if they've been married before, they have to take that again. Birth certificate. And again, proof of a relationship. And that's the key on this. I don't even know if she even showed half this stuff, when she went for the interview, because the interview was 10 minutes. And it was basically just questions that anybody in a relationship would know. When was my birthday? What's my favorite food? What's my sister's name? What's my brother's name? Those types of questions, just relationship questions. And let me make sure I'm not missing anything, guys. That's it. So, yeah, it's a very lengthy process. And even in the good of times, it took us right at 16 months, from the start to the finish. I would say without COVID, you're probably looking at around a year, and again, it's going to depend on the country and how well they've doing with COVID, lockdowns, backlogs, those types of things. But I hope this answers a lot of questions. And if you have any more questions, please, let me know. Take it easy, guys. See ya.